War one firefight at a time. It doesn't show the whole bloody picture, the incredible extent of drug terror and what it does to whole countries. Tonight on this program, we have set aside extra time to do just that, and we begin with Brian Ross's report on how drug lords are terrorizing Colombia.
This is one of the border crossings from the west into the tight security police state of Hungary. Sometime last year, somewhere around here, a team of assassins from a long way away managed to slip through all the checkpoints here to get to Budapest to carry out an assignment for one of the world's most ruthless criminal organizations. The assassins were sent here, to this quiet street in Budapest, by the drug bosses who run the Medellin cocaine cartel in Colombia. The man the drug bosses wanted dead was the former Minister of Justice of Colombia, who lived here and who had been sent to this Soviet bloc country as ambassador for his own safety after the drug bosses had marked him for death in Colombia. But even here, thousands of miles from Colombia, in a police state, the drug bosses set out to prove that anyone who gets in their way will be killed. This was the scene hours after the assassins made their move, firing 5 bullets into the Colombian ambassador at close range.
Shot here, the first one who penetrates in the mouth.
Miraculously, Ambassador Enrique Parejo lived, one of the few times the drug bosses failed in their campaign of murder. Now, all over the world, Ambassador Parejo is a hero in the fight against the men who tried to kill him. This was the ambassador just a month after he was shot. With his would-be assassin still at large, his bullet wounds not yet healed, his jaws wired shut, Parejo refused to hide or to give up.
Do you think that by speaking out as forcefully as you are, that you're inviting them to come after you again?
It is impossible for me to change. For that reason, I have said they can also kill me, kill somebody who fight against them. But they cannot change the will of persons who are convinced that we have to fight to defeat them.
But in Colombia, a place of proud traditions, this is not a time for great acts or even strong words against the cocaine business. The Colombian cocaine bosses may not have intimidated Ambassador Parejo, but with all their violence, their wealth, and their power, they seem to have intimidated, corrupted, overwhelmed much of Colombian government and Colombian society. A lot of important people here say the days of fighting the drug bosses in Colombia are over, that Colombia has paid just too high a price. There has been so much bloodshed, so much killing, that the Colombians are numb. No one is safe. The Attorney General was murdered in January when he went to Medellin to investigate the cartel. And when the Attorney General was buried, the president of the country did not come, reportedly because he feared for his own life. And now the new Attorney General says Colombia should not make war on the drug cartel, it should make peace with the cartel by simply legalizing the cocaine business. In fact, it's been years since the big drug bosses here have had much to fear from Colombian judges or prosecutors. This is one of the last times a big cartel boss, Fabio Ochoa, was called in for questioning. Ochoa showed up at the Bogota courthouse surrounded by 4 bodyguards carrying machine guns, and they went unchallenged right into the judge's chambers. Ochoa was quickly released and no charges were ever brought.
If you were a judge and you receive a case against a drug trafficker, in a few hours a lawyer will show up.
Lou Tams, former American ambassador to Colombia, says the drug bosses use bundles of cash and threats against judges' families to get the cases against them thrown out of court.
And if you're not interested in the bundle, then the lawyer will show you a photograph album. And the photograph album will be of your wife and your children and your grandchildren. And so what do? I'll tell you what you do. You let them go. You let the suspect go.
Incredibly, some of the most ruthless drug bosses are now prominent, accepted figures in Colombian society. Pablo Escobar, And other cartel leaders under indictment in the United States have owned leading professional soccer teams in the country. One of Colombia's leading television stars has had an open romantic relationship with Escobar. And one of the country's top sports heroes, Matador Dario Chica, is closely associated with the Ochoa family. And in the remote areas of Colombia, where the drug bosses operate their cocaine business, they live like feudal lords. One drug boss even has a castle. They spend millions raising fancy show horses, and their ranches and farms are some of the biggest in South America. Most troubling of all is that, like feudal lords, the drug bosses have made the people in the countryside loyal to them. In the aftermath of a big earthquake, hundreds of homeless peasants stood in line to receive handouts of cash, not from a relief worker, but from a drug boss, the most violent of the Colombian drug bosses, Gonzalo Rodriguez. In a few hours, Rodriguez, guarded by the national police, personally handed out almost $200,000, using a small amount of his billions in cocaine profits to make himself a beloved figure with people who may not know much about what's happened to the prosecutors in Medellin, or the judges in Bogota, or the ambassador in Budapest.
How close do you think the traffickers are to winning that battle?
No, if things continue as they are running now, they are very, very near to win this battle.
Brian Ross, NBC News, Bogota.
And today we learn the acting Attorney General of Colombia, Alfredo Gutierrez Marquez, the man who recommended legalizing cocaine, he has resigned. Gutierrez wrote a letter of resignation to Colombia's president when it was disclosed that his brother bought a huge farm from drug boss Pablo Escobar, and a plane believed to belong to the drug cartel landed there recently. Someone who is standing up to the drug bosses, however, is Andres Pastrana, the mayor-elect of Bogota. During his campaign, he was kidnapped by drug thugs and rescued after a week. A short while later, he was elected mayor on a platform of cracking down on the drug trade. Mayor Pastrana is in New York to meet with